Hey guys, so for this video, I want to rank the best teams in Fortnite Battle Royale. I've already ranked the best builders and the best controller players, so I wanted to switch it up and focus more on organizations. Now, I think the most fair way to go about this is to rank teams on the pure skill of their roster. Not things like how many followers they have or how many views they get. Rather, I'm gonna focus on how well their current players have placed competitively and how good they are overall today. Please remember, this is my personal opinion and you might disagree with me. I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as I can, even though I do have some friends that are pros. But for the sake of your enjoyment, I'll take them roasting me on Twitter and saying my rankings suck. Without further ado, let's start at our number 10 spot, Counter Logic Gaming. Currently, their Fortnite roster consists of 4 players. Som, Symmetrical, Leno, and Takata. If you're not that big into competitive, you probably haven't heard of any of them. Reason being is none of them make that much content. However, I think their achievements alone speak for themselves. Most notable is Som's second place finish at the Fortnite World Cup Finals in New York City. This netted him more than $1.8 million and established himself as a top LAN player. In addition to that, Leno and Symmetrical were part of one of the best trios in NA West. Together, they finished 4th in the FNCS Grand Finals and won Week 4 with their teammate Epic Whale. Lastly, there's Takata, who I believe got signed just last week, and he's already been performing well. He placed top 30 in the most recent Cash Cup and qualified for the FNCS semis in squads. So while they may not be the most well-known team on my list, you cannot deny their placements and raw talent. Moving on to my number 9 spot, I have Misfits Gaming. Based out of the UK, Misfits was never that big in the Fortnite scene. That was until their signing of an unknown player named Clix. After qualifying for the World Cup 5 different times, Clix single-handedly put Misfits on the map. Today, their roster is comprised of Andretta, Spades, Ops, and obviously Clix. All of them, except for Ops, qualified for the World Cup, and all of them, including Ops, dominated trios last season. Andretta placed 2nd in the FNCS Grand Finals in EU, Clix and Spades placed 7th in NA East, and Ops placed 15th. In squads, the 4 of them have found similar success after all qualifying for the FNCS semis that are occurring this week. All in all, Misfits is easily one of the most skilled teams in Fortnite right now. From tournament earnings to pure mechanics, every single one of them has the potential to be a superstar. For now though, this is the highest rank I can give them. 8th on my list is Ghost Gaming. Ghost was one of the first major teams in Fortnite after signing their original squad back in Season 4. They dominated every event early on and continue to be a top org today. Their huge roster includes Aiden, Bizzle, Thwifo, Saf, Snood, Sean, Issa, Camo, Demo, Kayun, Innocence, Assault, Zarby, and Trapped. I could list all of their placements, but I don't want to keep you here forever, so I'll keep it short. To me, Bizzle and Saf are 2 of the greatest players of all time. Both qualified for the World Cup, both have over $500,000 in earnings, Saf with over $1 million, and both are ridiculously consistent. Speaking of GOATs though, Aiden and Camo have to be in everyone's list for the top controller players ever. Without them, the competitive controller scene probably wouldn't exist. Inno and Assault are easily 2 of the best controller players in NA. Lastly, you have underrated gods like Thwifo, Sean, and Snood who can pop off whenever the time calls for it. Oh, and Demo is the best boomer in the game. Next up, at number 7, is Team Liquid. When it comes to competitive Fortnite, the boys of Team Liquid are as OG as it gets. Chap, Tom, aka 72 Hours, Poach, and Vivid inspired all of us and transformed the community into what it is today. Fast forward about 6 or 7 seasons, and Liquid has added even more incredible players: Stretch, Riversan, Fiber, and Scented. Each of them has repeatedly proven themselves as a top player in their respective region. The craziest part though is that the original 4 are still top tier players as well. Tom, Vivid, and Chap placed second in the Season X FNCS Finals and won the second week of squad qualifiers this season. They really didn't make too much noise before Chapter 2, but that's when the new guys shined. Riversan placed 9th at the Fortnite World Cup in solos, Scented and his trio won 9 different events, Fiber and his trio won Week 5 qualifiers, and Stretch is Booga's brother. Coming in at my 6th spot is probably an unexpected pick for a lot of you guys. That pick is Solary. Based out of France, Solary is arguably the best team in Europe. Their roster is made up of 4 historic EU greats: Kinstar, Airwax, Nikoff, and Hunter. Just thinking about it now, these guys are actually very similar to the Team Liquid lads in terms of their competitive careers. They all popped off during the first major tournaments, especially Keenstar, who won numerous fall and summer skirmishes. The difference, however, is the Solary squad stayed a bit more consistent in solos and duos. To be more specific, all 4 of them qualified for the Fortnite World Cup in duos, for the trio FNCS finals, and for the squad FNCS semis. Plus, Kinstar double qualified for solos and is still placing top 25 in nearly every solo cash cup. So while they may only have 4 members, in terms of consistency, it's hard to put anyone above them in Europe. Halfway through, and the 5th best team in the world goes to TSM. TSM came into the competitive scene very early on. They picked up Myth, Hamlin's, Daquan, and Camille's way before Epic sponsored events were even a thing. Nowadays, their roster is stacked with Zexro, Macwood, who I have a man crush on, Vinny, Cloud, EMAD-GG, Herions, Reverse 2K, Commandment, and Crew. Outside of EMAD and Cloud, each of them competed at the Fortnite World Cup. Crew finished 6th in solos, Zexro and Vinny finished 9th in duos, Macwood carried Young Calc to 16th, and Commandment placed 20th. Additionally, Zexro and Macwood's trio won the Season X FNCS Finals, Crew's trio placed 5th in EU, and Herion's trio placed 5th in NA West. Lastly, all of these beasts are on insane squads that I can guarantee will place well in the FNCS Finals this weekend. So even after a rocky start in the competitive scene, #RipMyth, TSM has undoubtedly proven itself as one of the best teams worldwide. Next up, at my number 4 spot, is 100 Thieves. Similar to TSM, they had a pretty rough start to competitive Fortnite. They signed Llama Lords, aka Risker, Kenneth, and Parallax all the way back in Season 5. Unfortunately though, none of them found success and are all no longer on the team. Nowadays, their roster has seriously upgraded and consists of Cease, Elevate, Arkram, Falconer, Kaizui, Grand Matisse, and Class. Accomplishments-wise, 5 out of the 7 competed at the Fortnite World Cup, with Cease and Arkram competing in both solos and duos. Elevate and Cease placed 3rd overall in duos, which put them in the $1 million earnings club, and then Arkram and Falconer placed 5th. Furthermore, even the lesser known 100T members are ridiculously talented. Grand Matisse is a controller player that placed top 5 in 3 of the last solo cash cups. Kaizui is also a nutcase that just barely missed out on the World Cup, and Class placed 28th in the Fortnite World Cup finals. Moving on to the top 3, and my pick has to go to FaZe Clan. FaZe is probably the most popular team in the world, especially when it comes to Fortnite. Their ginormous roster includes Mongrel, Dubs, Mega, Nate Hill, Funk Bomb, Binny, Diggy, Thieves, Replays, Tilt, Vorwin, Martos, Sway, Nick Mercs, and Space Lion. I know there's some people I left out, but I only want to include players that have played competitively. A prime example of that is Mongrel, who is arguably the best Fortnite player ever. He qualified for the World Cup in both solos and duos, won nearly every trio tournament, and continues to place at the top of events in Chapter 2. Then there's Dubs and Mega, two Zoomers who completely dominated the World Cup qualifiers. Dubs qualified 5 times in total, and together they placed 7th in the duo grand finals. You also can't forget Nate Hill and Funk Bomb, two of the best and most consistent boomers. And finally, Sway, who's arguably the most mechanical player, period. Alright, well, if FaZe is number 3, then who's number 2? It's none other than Sentinels. Rebranded from Phoenix 1, Sentinels has one of the scariest rosters in all of Fortnite. Bugha, Aspect, Animal, High Sky, Zypha, and Karos. To most people, Bugha is still the best player in the world. Outside of just winning $3 million and being crowned the first ever World Cup solo champion, Bugha has consistently showed why he's on another level. In solos, he won the Week 4 Solo Cash Cup and placed 2nd in the Week 3 one. In trios, he and his team placed top 5 every single week, and in squads, they've already qualified for the FNCS finals. However, Bugha is not the only thing Sentinels has to offer. Aspect is another godlike solo player who qualified for the World Cup, won the Week 2 Cash Cup, and placed top 4 in both Cash Cups last week. In addition to that, there's Animal, who dominated alongside Aspect in trios. There's High Sky and Zypha, who have been dominating in squads. And then there's Karos. All you have to know about Karos is that he started the Homer Grind movement and is king of the vibes. The thing is, that's not enough to claim my first spot. In my humble opinion, the best Fortnite team in the world is NRG Esports. Their elite roster is made up of Benji Fishy, Mr. Savage, Zate, Epic Whale, and Edgy. I know Symphony is on their team by the way, but he's more of a content creator like me. Anyways, what gives NRG the edge over every other team is the fact that every single one of their players can be regarded as the best in the world. Benji wins what seems like every Cash Cup, Mr. Savage literally won the last Cash Cup, Epic Whale consistently places top 10 in NA West, Edgy led one of the best Season X trios, and Zate is the best IGL in the history of the game. On top of that, all of them qualified for the World Cup, and all of them placed well at it. Epic Whale came 3rd in solos, Zate came 3rd in duos, and then Benji and Savage placed top 30 in both events. The way I see it is that there's just no other team that has the same level of distinction and greatness that NRG Esports does in Fortnite. Overall guys, those are what I believe to be the top 10 Fortnite teams in the world. Let me know down below what teams you do or do not agree with, as well as what teams you think I left out. If you enjoyed the video, then do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. Thank you to everyone using code Jerian. Also, I'm supposed to disclose that I get money from when you guys support me and use my code, or else the FTC will hunt me down and put me in jail. #ad. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.
Produced by Brigade.